All right. Okay, we can go to the first round. Uh,
Rishabh, back to the rule slide. Yeah.
Yep. So, starting with question one. In 1935, a man and his secretary go on a tour of London in order to compile a list of suitable locations for a certain purpose. They decide to include the pub or the cafe where they took their tea in this list, which is notable because this is an exception. None of the other names were of any individual buildings or sites. Much later on, a plaque is installed on this very site, proudly stating its aforementioned uniqueness and celebrating the man's contribution to British popular culture. What purpose does this list have, which remains popular not just in Britain but all around the world today?
Team 1, Kana House.
Guys,
Yeah,
Kana.
am I audible? Yeah, team one, the answer is, I think, Sherlock Holmes, like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's list of places to include in Sherlock Holmes, the novel written by him.
We can move on to the answer to see if that's correct. So no, the list was for the UK Monopoly Board, which has become the standard now all over the world today. The pub is called the Angel Islington. If you check the board, all the other locations are streets or major locations like Mayfair or stuff and railway stations. The Angel Islington is the only individual site we have on the Monopoly board. Yes.
I think we can go on to the next question now. Thank you. What connects Andaman and Nicobar, Australia, Cuba, and the Seychelles? This is a non-exhaustive list. Use the answer for the above question to find a link that confines the following people. Be as specific as you can. So, this question is a single parter. There is only one answer that you need to give, but you will need two different questions or hints to get you there. One, you will need to find the connection between the places given there: Andaman and Nicobar, Australia, Cuba, and the Seychelles. And then you will need to find a connection between the people given here. Team 2, Sananda. Yes, Hitansh.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So these guys were all imprisoned on island prisons.
So you got it right. They have all been jailed on an island. They have not all been exiled though. Because Nelson Mandela, after 27 years in prison, did go on to
True.
become, uh,
True.
and then Subhash Chandra Bose also.
Uh,
So, but the answer was that Mandela was jailed for 27 years in Robben Island, Netaji in cellular jail in Andaman and Nicobar. Al Capone was jailed in Alcatraz, and Napoleon was imprisoned in St. Helena. So the way you would have ideally gone about it is you would have figured out that Andaman and
yeah,
Nicobar, Cuba, and the Seychelles were all islands,
islands
and these people were all confined in
on
islands.
islands. I did that. Exactly, that's what I did. So, do I get the point?
Yeah, you get the point. Just
Fair
make
enough.
sure next time to keep your answers brief, because
Okay,
you might
sure.
accidentally bury yourself in your own over enthusiasm.
Fair enough.
All right, we can go to the next question now. Varun?
Question 3 then. Deep in a forest in Sussex, England, lies the origin of a sport that first and most frequently appeared in a work of children's fiction. It's considered by most to be a game of chance rather than skill, but has still garnered enough popularity to have its own championship events, which are held most often on the River Thames. Many people also arrive to play this game in the original location. However, they are advised to bring their own items, which must be of natural materials, since previous unprepared visitors have been known to cause damage to the trees in the vicinity. What is this game called?
Is it the game Jenga?
We'll go to the answer and see. It is not the game Jenga, it is the game Pooh Sticks, which was first mentioned in the House at Pooh Corner, Winnie the Pooh book. It's a fairly simple game. You take a branch, you drop it on the upstream side of a bridge, and you see whose stick appears first on the downstream side of the bridge. This game is very simple. It's only played by children these days in the World Championships. It's held on the Days Lock at Days Lock on the River Thames in the UK since 1984. The answer was two sticks. Right then, next question, Q4.
All right. Question number 4. Team 4, this is a direct to you. In 1896, a loophole allowed a woman to enter a then men only sporting event which was not anticipated. The first position was won by a man, S.A. blank O.W., but she finished a very commendable second. The organizers of the event quickly made it explicit that it was a men's only event and created a separate event for female participants before the next edition. According to them, this was due to her long skirt obscuring her feet movement, which judges would not be able to evaluate. Identified this sport, which was the only blank event to have a category for women in Jan to Feb 1924.
Is it track and field event?
No. Okay, can we move on to the answer slide now? Right, so the answer was figure skating. Matt Sayers found the loophole that the rules for the World Figure Skating Championships did not exclude women and won her silver. In the first Winter Olympics, which happened in Jan to February of 1924, figure skating was the only event to have a category for women. All right, good play, guys. Right now, next we can move on to the question 5.
Right then, question 5. Used today to describe something that is concise and or blunt, this word derives from an ancient region whose inhabitants had a reputation for being men of few words. A famous anecdote about this place involves the father of one of the greatest rulers of all time, who threatened to conquer the land with the message, "If I invade blank, I shall turn you out." Or in an alternative version, "If I invade blank, you will be destroyed." He was only met with the single worded reply, "if." What is the word?
Is it Laconia?
It is indeed Laconia. The region was Laconia. The word was Laconism or Laconic. Spartans, and the example I gave was of Kratos, who was popular from God of War franchise. Spartans were famous for their dry, understated wit, which is now known as laconic humor. A Spartan youth was apparently liable to have his thumb bitten as punishment for too verbose a response to a teacher's question.
Right, question 6. In the early 1800s, some villagers in Germany were surprised to find a white stork with a strange spear of Central African origin. The curious nature of the whole event led the villagers to name the bird arrowstork, stuff it, and preserve it. There have been 24 more found since then, but what crucial scientific idea did the first file stock help to prove?
Is the answer migration?
Can we move on to the answer slide? You're right, it is bird migration. Every file stock, including the first one at Klutz, has been found with some African weapon lodged in it and was one of the first pieces of evidence of bird migration. Migration, we will also take that as an answer.
Okay, a bit long is question, so we'll give enough time for pouncing, don't worry. So it was a breezy day of May 29, almost 7 decades ago from today, when this lady in the picture managed to reach the top of headlines worldwide. She was accompanying a group of people somewhere in the subcontinent and she was continuously radioing her notes to her correspondent at the Times, withstanding numb hands and high wind noises. Though being very important, the news was overshadowed by another event which happened on 2nd June that snatched limelight in the entire world for its political and cultural importance. When a certain 27-year-old lady too ascended to the top, marking the start of a new era. This lady in the picture later recalled this almost simultaneous occurrence of these two events that stirred the British nations and wrote a book on these two topics. So what was the title of the book? If you are not able to give me the title of the book, but you are able to give me the two events which took place almost at the same time, then also I will give you full 10 points.
So for the first event, I believe it's climbing the top of Mount Everest. And for the
And
second event, it's the Cuban Missile Crisis or something.
go to the answer slide. So actually the book was named Coronation Everest. So the first event was the climbing of Mount Everest. That's correct. But the second event was the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. Okay, so these two events were almost collided, and that is why I mentioned that it has something to do with British nationality. So +5 to team number 7 since you got the first part correct. All right, so the second leg of UEFA CONMEBOL playoff for 1974 FIFA World Cup was scheduled to be played on 21st November 1973. The Soviets, the UEFA representative obviously, though were reluctant to visit, citing some serious political issues related to the venue, and demanded to play the match in some neutral country, which FIFA rejected. However, FIFA arranged the match in which the only goal was scored by the skipper of the home side, Francisco Valdez, that too in some surprising fashion. The match ended within 30 seconds from the kickoff, just after the goal was scored. So for which political reason did the team from Europe decline to visit the country or the venue, or simply name the venue? Okay, so either give me again a two-parter question, mind that. So for pounds, I need both the parts. For direct of team number 8, you can give me, I will give you part points if you get one part correct, but for pounds, I need both the parts. Okay, so for the first part, I need either the reason of declining to visit or I need the name of the venue. For the second part, I need what the uniqueness of the goal scored by Valdez was. By the way, is anyone blocking the hint, or otherwise I will give which continent is this? Is any of the team blocking the hint, or I will give the
If you'd like to block
continent?
the hint, please raise your hand. So we have 1, 2.
If we block the hint, do we compulsorily have to bounce?
No, not
No,
necessarily.
no.
Not necessarily. Okay, so anyway, 3 teams are blocking, so I won't give the hints. Two or more hints and 2 or more blocks, and I won't give any hint. So anyway, so we'll count for pounds now. Pounds will be closed in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No more pounces post this time, and it will be direct to Nallamala. Team 8. Have an answer. Team 8.
Is the venue Lenin Stadium?
Sorry, which stadium?
Lenin Stadium.
Okay, and the second part? Uniqueness of the goal?
Second part, what is uniqueness of the goal? In 30 seconds, was it direct from kickoff? Something like that.
I'm explaining. Okay, so the CONMEBOL is the association of which continent? It is South America. And
South America.
And
Yeah.
the country is in which country in South America you will get the surnames like Valdez? It is Chile. So what was going on at that time? Now go to the answer slide. Okay, so this venue, Estadio Nacional in Chile, it was being used as the detention camp during the infamous dictator of Chile called Augusto Pinochet, and that was also serving as the venue for this playoff, and that is why Soviets were reluctant to visit that particular venue. Okay, and since Soviets didn't visit, so USSR didn't take field at all. The Chileans were the only side on the ground, and they simply scored in an empty goal, and that's how the match was finished. I think we should. Yeah, so this is a written round, so 4 questions in this round. You need to write down all the answers. One of you just write down all the answers once all the 4 questions are finished, and send on the designated WhatsApp group prepared for your house on a single message. Before that, you can discuss among yourselves after once we are showing each question, you can discuss among yourselves. But once all the questions are being shown, just write a single WhatsApp message and have all the answers in that. +10 for each correct answer. for two-parters, +5 for getting each part correct. No negative marking, so feel free to guess. And additional +10 for a full house. That means if you are getting all the parts of all the questions correct, you will get +50. So +50 is at stake. So move on to the next question, Rishabh. Yeah. So identify this monument, originally constructed as a Hindu temple and later was transformed into a Buddhist temple. One of the very few ones to be featured on the flag of a country. So one of the very few buildings to be featured on the flag of a country, that is. So this is a two-parter question. First part, I need the name of the monument. Second part, I need the country in which this is situated in. I have a bigger image on the next slide. Go to the next slide, Rishabh. So this is a bigger image. All right, move on to the next question. Okay, so these life-size troops have a picture on the next slide. We'll show you once I read out the question. So these life-size troops made of burning clay, protecting the mausoleum of the so-called first emperor of the unified China is collectively known as what? Now go to the picture slide once. So yeah, this is the image of the protected mausoleum, but it also contains the sculptures of life-size sculptures of troops. Okay, so now go back to the question. All right, let's move on to the next question number 3. Okay, so during the construction of this medieval European structure, the shallow foundation and the unstable subsoil couldn't properly support the weight, and as a result, it started getting inclined. So remedial works kept on taking place since in order to reduce the curvature, but the architects were never able to make it zero. Which structure is this? So if you go through the hints, the parts highlighted in bold. Okay, so which 7 feet 4 inch tall gigantic figure is seen here portraying which hairy human-like mythical creature, the name of whom is said to have been derived from the unusually large size of the lower part of its body? Two-parter question. For the first part, I need who is playing, who is portraying, and for the second part, he is portraying whom? He is portraying a mythical creature basically, whose name is said to have been derived from the unusually large size of the lower part of the body. Okay, we'll quickly cycle back. This was question number 4. Rishabh, go to the previous slide. This was question number 3. The medieval European structure started getting inclined. The name of the one-part question, the name of the structure is fine. Question 2. Go to the question. Yeah, so again, it is collectively the mausoleum protected by the soldiers is collectively known as what? Okay. Go to, yeah, Subhasish.
Yeah, so do we have to write the name of the emperor, or do we only have to write the name of the structure?
Just the name of the mausoleum, that's it.
Okay, okay.
No need to give me the name of the emperor. Yeah, go to the first question.
Wait. Samya, the mausoleum or the structures?
It is, both are known by the same name. Okay, collectively known. I mean, the whole structure, the mausoleum is one of the part. Yeah, that's the whole is known by the. Yeah. Go to the first question. Yeah, so the monument and the country. Okay, so one of the very few countries which have an architecture on its flag. So it is pretty obvious. The monument is also quite famous. We'll give you 20-30 more seconds and start submitting the answers on the designated groups. Okay. Maximum 1 minute I can give. After that, I won't accept any further answers.
Could you please show the fourth question? The last question.
Stay here. Stay here.
And what 2 parts should I be answering?
The actor and he's portraying whom. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
$20 more seconds. Last 10 seconds. And done. So Chirag, how many teams have all 8, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Just
got
a second.
answers.
Just a second.
Yeah.
All right, go. Now we'll start moving to the answer slide. So this one, anyone? Now you can unmute yourself. Yes, it is
Yes.
Angkor Wat and Company. Yeah. Go to the answer slide, Rishabh. Yeah. So it indeed is Angkor Wat and Company. Anyone?
Terracotta Army.
Terracotta Army is the answer. So troops, the collection of troops is in general known by army, and terracotta is burning clay. Hitansh, do you have any further doubt? Okay. So question 3. So Sandeep?
Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah. So what else other than Leaning Tower of Pisa? Question 4.
Andre the
This
Giant
one?
by Bigfoot.
Yes. So, and by the way, the theme round, this round has been prepared keeping a certain theme in mind. Can anyone guess what the theme was?
Go on, give a guess.
Give a guess. Obviously, no plus or minus for this.
Yeah, there's no cutting or anything. Anyone can give a guess.
Giants of the past. I mean, Angkor Wat being one of the largest Hindu temple, and um, uh, the terracotta army being the largest terracotta structures, I guess.
That is a good guess, actually, but incorrect. Anyone else? Okay, so actually, this is a bit of hypothetical connect, you can say. These all are somewhat regarded as eighth wonder of the world. So the structures like the Leaning Tower of Pisa or Angkor Wat, they are known as obviously not officially recorded, but on multiple as per multiple records, those are mentioned as eighth wonders of the world. And Andre the Giant, due to his gigantic figure, was also referred to as the eighth wonder of the world. So that's why. And since it is a hypothetical list, I haven't asked you for the theme. Okay. Great news that we have got multiple full houses in the round 2. Hopefully, the same flow will be continued in round 3. So, go to the rule slide for round 3. All right. So, just like round 1, 8 questions in this round, but it will go anti-clockwise. That means just how I described. First question will be asked to team number 8, and then it will pass like team 7, team 6 in this manner. So, read again, like all the questions, read the questions carefully. The bold parts will work as additional hints for working the answers out. Plus 10, 0 on direct or bounce or pass. Plus 10 and minus 5 on pounce. Pretty much same rules. And remember, there are a few three-parter questions where two parts are somewhat connected. For those questions, I have mentioned the point system like 3, 3, 4 in that particular question slide, so don't worry about it. For two-parters, plus 5 for getting each part correct. For pounds, all the parts should be correct, otherwise you will get a negative. But on direct or bonus, there are part answers are accepted. Okay, rules are clear to everyone. All right, so let's start the final round. All the best to all the teams. It is direct to team number 8, Nalamala. Yeah. So when this organization was founded in 1905, after a meeting of 23 amateurs and professionals, it was unanimously decided that no member would willfully disclose their state secrets, failing to abide by which one might be liable to be expelled from this organization. So quite compatible with the shape of the plaque, try to guess the name of the society, which was founded in 1905. Two-part quiz, two-part this is, so +5 for getting each part. This is the first part. Second part, which pop culture phenomenon in the early part of this century was the key reason for its growth, with membership almost getting doubled post that phenomenon?
So is it the Magic Circle and Harry Potter series?
Could you explain like Harry Potter series? I mean, be specific.
I mean, Harry Potter being a fictional work which deals with the wizards and witches, and they're supposed to be a secret society wherein the secrets, I mean, their identity is not disclosed to any outside people. So this
Okay,
might.
I will give it to you. Go to the answer. Go to the answer. So actually, this is the Magic Circle, obviously, and the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was released in the early part of this century, and so that is the reason why the membership of the secret society started getting almost doubled. So, so good answer from Neil Giri. So this lady in the picture became the very first recipient of the Abdul Kalam Award in 2015. Her name or face might not be that popular among the common mass, but it was her vocal brilliance that used to ignite the thrill in all those who used to assemble to witness some object get underway. So what was her profession? This is again a two-parter question, +5 for each part, but on pounds I need both the parts. So what was her that's the first part, that's her, what was her profession? She died recently. That is why I used was. And what was her final assignment on 14th July? A momentous 10-second interval that millions of Indians proudly waited for, keeping their fingers crossed.
Her profession was scientist, and last mission was Chandrayaan 3 countdown.
All right, so that is why I'm accepting, since you mentioned that she announced the countdowns for Chandrayaan 3, and that is why I'm accepting. If had you said only Chandrayaan 3, I would not have accepted full 10. So when this Frenchman, first of all, let me clarify, it is nothing, it might look like a football question, but it is a bit Janice answers of this question, so don't worry if you are not able to remember any of the football trivia. Anyway, so when this Frenchman scored in the 95th minute to seal his club's first ever win in Italy, the Frenchman whose picture I have given here, so he celebrated in some really unusual way by doing an acrobatic upside down flip, just like the picture shows. A section of media suggested that this came as a payback to the derogatory remarks from the local far-right supporters, as it resembled a disturbing culminating image from the year 1945. How? This is the first part, again +5 for getting each part. Second part, the supporters of the Italian club against whom he scored. Remember, okay. The supporters of this Italian club have infamously associated themselves into numerous racist anti-Semitic slurs since the inception, and the trend hit a new low when they displayed banners from the stands aiming towards their rivals some 25 years ago. 25 years ago from this day. That means that means late 90s, during late 90s. Okay. So with the banner read, "Dash is your homeland, the ovens are your homes." Obviously, they came with a banner which was written in Italian, but if you translate in English, The English translation would somewhat look like that. I just fill in the blanks. The first word of the banner.
Yeah, so number one, we think it's the hanging of Benito Mussolini and the execution of Benito Mussolini, and number two, no idea, but concentration camps.
Go to the answer slide, Rishabh. It indeed was resembling the last picture of Mussolini when he was hung upside down by the partisans in 1945. And according to a certain section of the media, this French Cameroonian footballer Incham was resembling this feat by this celebration technique. Okay, and the second part is obviously Auschwitz concentration camp. The club is Lazio, by the way. The supporters were mocking Roma, their arch rivals, and they came with numerous disturbing stickers of Annie Frank, and they were taking out banners which read "Auschwitz is your home." I mean, so a young Italian being charmed by a beautiful, wealthy lady from Belmont seeks financial help from his friend, a trader by profession. But since his ships were busy in Tripoli, Mexico, England, Lisbon, Barbadian coast, and Dash, obviously a place, he cited his inability in monetary aid. So, which five-letter word is blanked out? Currently, the topic of a heated debate with its possible six-letter native counterpart. Again, a two-parter question, plus 5 for each part, and no part bouncing. The profession, this was the first part. For the second part, the profession of this friend, the friend, who was trader by profession, this profession inspired the title of which late 16th century classic?
The first five-letter word is India, and the profession was a ship merchant.
Have you read the question? I asked for the classic, name of the classic, not the profession. Profession I have given already.
The Merchant of Venice.
And that gives you full 10 points. Go to the answer. So it is India. In Act 3, Scene 2 of Merchant of Venice, you will find a mention of this word India. And obviously it is a currently topic of a heated debate. And the six-letter native counterpart is obviously Bharat. Merchant of Venice is the title which was inspired by the profession of this friend Antonio. He was a ship merchant by profession. So although the iconic costume worn by the American actress, who spent significant time in an Indian upbringing, probably became the most identifiable part of the martial arts saga. She later revealed that she never wanted to wear the skin-tight yellow onesie, considering she had just given birth. So whose appearance from which movie is being described here? So this was the type of question that I was referring to, the three-parter question. For the first two parts, I need whose appearance from which movie, the name of the actress and which movie. So 3 plus 3 for these two. And for the last part, this outfit was seen as a cameo in which recent resurgence of some soldier. This is for plus 4. So plus 3 for which actress, plus 3 for which movie, the previous movie I mean. And this outfit was seen as a cameo in which recent resurgence of the soldier, that is for plus 4.
So the first part would be Uma Thurman. I mean, sorry, that would be the second movie. The movie name is Kill Bill.
And
last the output, G.I. Jones, is it?
Okay, passing on to team number 2.
Yeah, the first part is Kill Bill and Uma Thurman, but the second part, Jawan.
That gives a full 10 points. I will give you full 10 points for this because it is only depends on me what to give, and plus 6 to team number 3, remember. Okay, so I am accepting something called this method is followed in certain questions that if you get full parts correct, and I am not disclosing which part is correct, and that is why I'm giving you full 10 points plus 6 to team number 3, remember. And which team pounced?
Can't have pounced.
Yeah, team 7. Yeah,
We haven't pounced, but the thing is, in our question, you only gave us half mark
that,
despite not
that will
revealing which
that
part
will
is.
I just clarified for some question. This method is called chimping. Okay, for since I am not disclosing which answer is correct and for certain question I will accept chimping. That means even if some previous team had got his or her part correct, I mean 1 or 2 parts correct of a 3-parter question, then I can give plus 10 if take some later team getting all the parts correct. Since it was a 3-parter question, I am accepting chimping for this. Your question was a 2-parter. Okay, so I did not accept chimping for that. Okay. So plus 6 to team number 3, plus 10 to team number 2, and the next question would be direct to team number 1. Yeah. One of the easiest questions of this quiz. So when the authority recently came up with an unusual solution of installing spring-loaded fans to combat a serious issue surging in a North Indian city, it didn't take much time to be mocked by the social media users, who pointed out towards not focusing on the main psychological reason. So what was the reason behind such instruction? Is the first part, 2-parter question. And let me clarify, no chimping is allowed since it is a 2-parter question. For 3-parter questions, I can accept chimping, but not for this. It's a 2-parter question. Okay. So what was the reason behind such instruction? First part. Second part, which city is this that became the epicenter of a particular industry in the late 1980s, that is?
Yeah, so the first part is the reason is basically suicide of students due to student pressure in academic institutions, and the second part is the city of Kota, which is the capital of basically tuitions.
And that makes it a full house. That means plus 10 to all the teams. So yeah, it is indeed suicide. It was these fans were indeed installed in Kota due to the serious concerns of suicide, the growing cases of suicide prevailing. Okay, so but let me clarify. This is a 3-parter question, so we'll accept chimping for this. And anyway, it won't affect any of the answering because I am not disclosing whether which part is correct or not. All right. So when the governing body of a certain sport decided to award the hosting rights of the biennial global extravaganza to some Asian country, Arab nations as well as the Soviets boycotted as they didn't recognize the country where this event was slated to be held. The de facto leader of an Arabian country decided to organize a separate tournament in response to the announcement, which, however, wasn't attended by any of the highest norm holders. So, what was the original tournament? That means for plus 4, and identify the 2 countries. That means the country where the original tournament was held, and the next tournament organized by this de facto leader it took place in which country? That is for another country. So these are the 2 countries I need, plus 3 for getting each of the countries correct. Okay. So plus 4 for the tournament, plus 3 each for each of the country.
The countries are, one of them is Israel, the other is UAE.
And
tournament, I don't know.
Okay, team 7. Team
About
7.
the countries, I believe the first one is Vietnam, the second one is Turkey, and the tournament, no idea.
Turkey being Arabic country. Interesting. Team 6.
The tournament we guess is Football World Championship, and the countries are Israel and UAE.
Which world championship? Football.
Yeah.
Okay, team 5.
The two countries are, we suppose, Israel and UAE, and the tournament is AFC Asian Cup.
Okay. Uh, Team 4.
The tournament is FIFA. First country is Vietnam and second is Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Saudi Arabia does have some de facto leader. Okay. Got it. Why you said this? Yeah. Team 3.
The countries are Israel and UAE, and the tournament is some Asian football competition type.
Team 2.
I think the tournament is the PGA Golf Tour, and one of the countries
Oh,
is
sorry.
Taiwan.
Team 2 you pounds. Sorry. My bad. My bad. Team 2 you pounds. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Team 1.
So the countries are, I guess, Israel and UAE, and the tournament may be FIFA.
All right. So before going to the answer slide, okay. So Israel is pretty much obvious because Arabian countries and most Islamic countries don't recognize that country, and they opt for Palestine. They recognize Palestine instead of Israel. So that part is pretty obvious. Which is an Arabian country that once had some de facto leader? I mentioned sort of a dictator. Which Arabian country it can be? Anyone? It is not
Egypt.
UAE or Saudi Arabia, because in Saudi, if it is not Egypt, then what is the other country? If it is not Egypt,
Oman.
Even
Mohammed
I
Ali.
don't know the answer. Maybe Libya or Syria.
It's a
okay,
Qatar.
okay, and what is in which tournament do you generally see the highest norm holders play? Wait, this norm thing is associated. You can
World
associate.
Chess Championship.
Mitansh, you should have gone by the norm, right? I thought you would guess it out with the norm.
Yeah.
So which event it can be? I mean, which tournament it can be? So I heard someone was mentioning about chess. So which event it can be?
Right.
It's World
Oh, come
Chess
on.
Championships.
Ah,
Not World Championship. Okay, let's move on to the answer slide. It is Chess Olympiad. Okay, so this Chess Olympiad was initially slated to be, I mean, it was scheduled to be held in the 1976 edition was held in Israel, but since Arabian countries did not recognize and Soviets also boycotted because US recognized Israel, so that is why they also boycotted. Then what happened? Muammar Gaddafi of Libya organized a rival chess event which was called against Chess Olympiad. This was given to the name, but uh, unfortunately, none of the highest norm holders, that is grandmasters, did not take part in that rival event. So only few international masters took part. Even no one from Soviet Union also took part. So unfortunate case. So plus, yeah. So this European politician in his heydays became infamous for his segregational and divisional moves. Later on, when his essay was published in the 1970s, he designed an about uh, that would have been he referred to as, so I have probably had made a typo there. Okay, so he mentioned that would be somewhere around mentioned. Okay, he mentioned an about 25-year-old nation as a model country. Okay, that would be mentioned. Sorry for this. So his continuous moves of alienating the Serbs faced numerous criticism from across the world, and the Serbs in turn started using which neologism, attacking him and his followers. First of all, tell me, do you know what a neologism is? Do you know? Okay,
No, can you
let me
please
clarify.
explain?
Neologism is basically a newly coined word based on a certain individual or a place. That means it is not mentioned in the dictionary, but the word is initiated after someone coins a term, and that's how it became famous in popular consciousness. For example, Gandhism is a neologism that was modeled on Gandhi. Okay, so hopefully it is clear now. So for the first part, I need the term or neologism when Serbs coined this term and when this gentleman in the picture started alienating them by several segregational and divisional moves. This is for the first part. And which country did he become a president of in 1992 following a major split?
I think the neologism is Pakistanism, and he became the president of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
That gives you full 10 points. So the neologism is indeed Pakistanism. Go to the answer slide, Reserve. Is indeed Pakistanism or Pakistanism. Both are no, more or less same. And the country is indeed Bosnia and Herzegovina. It became an independent country post a major split from Yugoslavia in the year 1992. Uh, this person, Eliza Izetbegovic, he became is Izetbegovic. Sorry, is not so common name. So he became a president of independent Bosnia and Herzegovina in the 1970s. Since the 1970s, his segregational moves were pretty much criticized across the world and especially among the Serbs, and they coined this term of Pakistanism. Nowadays, this term is widely used in several other aspects for similar reasons like this. So this was the final question of the whole quiz.